This is the Wealthy Wednesday Show with your host, Lucy McMonagle, a money manifestor, coach, and public speaker who's on a mission to helping you create more wealth in your life and business. This show will inspire and empower you with various topics and has expert guests. Let's welcome your host, Lucy McMonagle.
Welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday Show. This is your host, Lucy McMonagle. I am so grateful that you are listening to the Wealthy Wednesday Show. And I would love it if you would go to our Facebook at facebook.com/Wealthy Wednesday Show and like our Facebook page. Let us know about the people you would like me to have on Wealthy Wednesday Show. And also let me know topics that you would like me to cover in the future. So today we have an incredible young lady. Her name is Tonya Hofmann, and she is the CEO and founder of the Public Speakers Association. She's a globally sought-after speaker, best-selling author of 6 books, host of the Tonya Hofmann Fabulous TV show. And she's on the front cover of five different magazines. She's a winner of multiple awards like the Women of Influence of the Year from the Business Journal and the E-Women's Business Matchmaker. Let's give a warm welcome to Tonya. Welcome to the show, Tonya.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Oh, I'm so honored that you are on the Wealthy Wednesday Show.
Me too.
Thank you. Thank you. So you are the founder and the CEO of the Public Speakers Association, and you are globally sought after as a speaker. How did you first start, and can anybody become a speaker?
It was kind of a shock to me, to be honest with you. There was like this moment of, what, you want me to speak? And it was in front of 5 lovely ladies who all loved me. And I stood up, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're talking about today. It's sweating. It was awful. But there's something about standing up and everybody looking at you and going, oh, that's good info. And they're writing it down and they're shaking their heads and they're getting all into it. And the sales that come from it. So you could change lives and make money. I'm like, I've got to figure this whole thing out.
Wow. Oh, absolutely.
It was just a matter of pushing myself, right? And getting used to it.
Oh, that's so exciting. So you were so nervous when you had, 5 ladies that you needed to speak in front of. And you were like pouring down sweat and it was very uncomfortable. But then you started to find out you were changing lives. And was that kind of like the turning point on where you really wanted to figure this out? Or what was the turning point that you really had to figure this out on how to do public speaking?
I really loved that for the first time. I've always been kind of the oddball, this person who didn't quite fit into any of the fit-in clubs, and there was something about standing up and that people really did want to hear what I had to say. Of course, not everybody, can't make everybody happy, but it was like generally people were like, oh, good, Tonya's speaking. And I'm like, wow, and then you saw the light bulbs go on. You saw people that the first time I made people cry, I'm like, are you crying? I was like, how could I make people cry? So it was like one of those just connection points. You probably have had it many times, Lucy, where you just feel like you suddenly are connected with people. And that was so gratifying.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I do understand the moment when you have that point of connection with another individual and they get you.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. That is so powerful. So can you tell us, why should somebody consider becoming a speaker?
It is that everybody has this expertise. There's things that that I do not know, that I need to learn from you. I don't care who you are. You have lived a life I cannot live. So in order for me to grow and for other people to grow and move this beautiful world that we have, that we get to live in, forward in a positive direction, positive direction,
Yes.
then it's about you getting in front of people. And no matter how scared you are, how much you think, oh, that's not me, whatever it is, whatever those little characters are in your head going, you can't do that. Why would anyone want to listen to you? Just push that aside, because it's so wonderful. Like I said, when you see that spark goes on in somebody's eyes and they come up to you, or they, send you a message or whatever, and they're like, oh my gosh, you have totally changed my life. I can't even tell you how gratifying that is, that you could create such a positive movement in this world.
Wow. That is so important, being able to create a positive movement. And I mean positive, because if you watch the news, if you're watching TV a lot, you would actually believe that this is really not a very friendly, nice place. But there's so many individuals like you, Tonya, and like the women and the men that I'm working with, and the women and the men that I am associating with, that truly believe that there's a different way, there's a better way. And creating this positive influence globally is just the beginning of the domino effect, in my opinion.
It's so exciting, because I used to believe that, all men were bad, and, that there weren't really positiveness in the world, and that there was this lack of luster. And then when you start getting around the right people, my husband was the first person. I was like, what? You're a nice guy, and, when you start realizing just how people really do want to help, and they really are nice. And there's plenty of crappy people out there, but don't associate with them. Be around people like Lucy, that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm around Lucy. Those are the type of people that you just gravitate to, and you just hang with. Whatever it takes to be a part of their world, you just do it.
Wow, that's so very true. And, you started the Public Speakers Association because you've seen this spark in other people, and you started noticing there's really good people out there, and there's potential people out there. But how does an individual, if they were getting involved in speaking, how would they make money?
Good question, because a lot of people still have kind of the old way of speaking, what they kind of remember what speakers used to be. And that kind of, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, those kind of guys, that world's kind of gone, because for one thing, people don't want gurus anymore. They want real people. They want people they can relate to. They're not all perfect, They want people that give really solid information. It's just not pie in the sky. Everything's beautiful and fluffy, They want real information. And so realistically, they're looking for, whoever's listening to this, are looking for you to get out there and to make money. Nowadays, most speaking opportunities aren't paid. There are some still out there. I still get paid, a speaker's fee. Sometimes they pay for travel expenses, but in the most part, it's what most people call free speaking. Get the word out of your mind, because it's investment speaking. You're investing your time and your money for marketing. So it has to equal out into some type of business, because realistically, when you look at the crowd, this is what I didn't get, I'll take a speaker's fee, but it's not my favorite, because I look at all those, say 100 people in front of me, and I just speak for an hour. I cannot change their life forever in an hour. They have to go further with me. And to go further with me is sales. And go further with you is sales. So it's just a matter of letting people know how you can help them long term.
Wow, that is so true. So instead of looking at it as being a free speaker, you're looking at it as being a investment speaker. So you're investing in yourself, but you're also investing in the audience. And from there, you're creating a business. And people want to work with you. If they're there listening to you, they're interested in what you have to teach. And a number of those people, I believe, would like to go further than just a 1-hour mini transformation.
Exactly. Give them really great info. Change what you can change, but knowing that they've got to go further with you. There's an expectation now that they get to be a part of your world. And so how sad is it? Every once in a while I run into somebody that it's just transactional. They get up there, they do their thing, and then they're gone. And to me, that's just, I love being there, being a part of it, being a part of all those people's lives. And then let's continue the conversation. Let's continue the relationship. To me, that's what being alive is all about.
Exactly. And continuing the relationship with these awesome people who are positive and ready to make an impact on the world because they're looking at you, which, being a part of and being a founder of the Public Speakers Association, you're really able to bring people to a new level. And a lot of individuals, they might listening to this and they're like, oh, Tonya, that sounds so good. I've got a message. It's been burning inside of me for years and years. I'm so ready to get it out there. And I'd like to make some money as a speaker, but how do I get booked?
Yes. So, that's one of the things. When I started looking at speaking and getting myself into the speaking world, I had to get over all my fears first. And then once I got through that and I started to get out there and people were starting to ask me questions, there was always two: how to make money, and then how do I find speaking opportunities? And I'm like, well, I don't understand why y'all can't find them, because they're like all over the place. And so I decided, that's one of the reasons I decided to create the Public Speakers Association, was to help people, funnel people to them for sales and for database collection, for email marketing, social media connections, but also to find all the speaking opportunities to associations, corporate and industry conferences, TED Talks, radio shows, teleconferences, video conferences. There's just so many now. It's just like crazy, the blabathons that I do, right? Yes. We all need to become blabbers nowadays.
Exactly.
But a lot of it is about building relationships, and that's one of the things that really the value that people don't really talk about in speaking. The real value is the opportunities that happen that you can't even imagine yet. You're not going in there because of those, because you just don't even know that they exist. Because all of those people have connections and opportunities. It just blows my mind, the things that happen when you're a speaker.
Exactly. So the individual should look online, look for blabathons, look for associations, look for different places, different organizations that are looking for speakers, or ask them, are you looking for a speaker?
Exactly.
And, that's where you get your speaking gigs. That's where you're able to be an investment speaker.
And that's, one of the reasons I make it really easy for people to join the association, so they could just, have me do all that work.
That's a great idea. Definitely.
Yeah, like you're going to be on my TV show and you're going to rock it. It's just about getting the fabulous Miss Lucy in front of as many people as possible. To me, that's what everybody should be doing, is getting themselves out there.
Exactly, is getting yourself out there and looking for these. A lot of individuals, they might be nervous, the audience may be listening to this and they're ready to start taking this to the next level. And so they finally get their very first speaking gig. And they're really, really nervous. So how important is it to be completely perfect on the stage? And can you give us a little bit of ideas on how to make a great presentation?
Yes. So realistically, for everybody, I want you to get out of your mind that it's about, remember, there's no gurus anymore. They want imperfection. They want good content, and they want personality. So the more your personality you can bring out, the better. And when you start really kind of looking at putting together a presentation, it's really not that difficult, because I could talk to anybody and ask them, so Lucy, tell me about what you do. And you could literally talk to me for 30 minutes, an hour straight.
Exactly.
When people are like, I don't know what I would talk about. I'm like, oh, please. So you've already got it in you. It's just about structuring it down. I know I'm just creating an online course right now called Wow Presentation Creation, so that people can stand out and not sound like everybody else's presentation, because a lot of people get stuck into formulas that are out there. And so I could always tell who they talk to and whose courses they go through, because you're like, oh, they're going to say, oh, there they go. I'm like, oh, I got to let it go, people. But you realize that you're doing yourself and the audience a disservice by making a perfect presentation. Please don't memorize something. Just, know what you're going to talk about and come from your heart, because then you can adjust it and it becomes very organic then. And yeah, you'll forget things. You'll leave things out. You'll talk about things that you're like, where did that come from? But they're inspirational. I always feel like I'm embodied at that time. I need to tell them that story, and sometimes I don't even know why. And sometimes it goes flat. Maybe they don't even like it. Maybe they don't even get it. Or maybe it's like this amazing experience ever. And it's okay, because people will remember the things that impacted them versus what didn't. So there's always going to be something you say that people are going to resonate with. And when you realize that, it could just be one moment. It could be a moment at the very end or at the very beginning, but there's going to be something that resonates with somebody. I was just at an event and a guy, oh, you were there, Lucy, and he was like, when you started, I did not like you. By the end, I loved you, right? And I'm like, see, anyone can transform.
True.
But it's about just getting that message out of you, and I don't worry as much about what comes out. I just know that it's going to be the right thing that comes out at the moment. And then when you look at kind of getting used to tweaking, right? So you're going to give a presentation and you're going to say, I went through a gazillion messages, a gazillion story plots to describe how to sell to a crowd. And it took me forever to come up with the chessboard analogy now. I mean, I tried everything, and some of them were okay. I still use them every once in a while because sometimes it fits a certain kind of group more than others.
Okay.
But you try something and you see what happens. And so many people want it to be perfect from the get-go, and there's just no such thing. And the only way you're going to find out is by actually opening your mouth and talking.
That's true. That's so very true. And I really believe a lot of individuals want to be heard and they want to be listened to. And a lot of individuals who are listening to this show, they have this sacred message that's going to empower somebody's life. And even if you don't have it completely in a perfect little formula, that's okay. Start with where you're at, move forward, find the speaking gigs, and then improve it as you move along. Is that I understand how you said that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And don't get so stuck on the outcome, because people will feel it, right? So if you're like,
Okay.
I've got to turn, 10 people into a client today, they're going to feel that,
Yeah.
You don't go out with, some kind of expectation of what you would like to happen, but don't get stuck on it, right? Or, get stuck on a word or a phrase that you want to say perfectly, and stop using other people's quotes. Start coming up with your own quotes. Yeah, you love the one by, Marianne Williamson. Okay, come up with something similar, kind of the same that you come up with yourself, because it needs to be about you and not others. And I think that's the hardest thing for people to break free from, is that people do want to hear from them and they do want to quote them, that you are quotable.
Yes, exactly. That's a good one. We should tweet that. Become a quotable.
Right.
I like that. I definitely like that. And you were mentioning, when you're on the stage and you're, not to get married basically to what the outcome's going to be, or demanding that you have to have so many sales or so many people who sign up. Can you tell us how exactly do you sell from the stage without having that nervous energy that you have to?
it's called getting used to it. You know, you're going to bomb terribly. And it's just like with anything. I mean, the first time I did video, I was like, hello, I am Tonya Hofmann. I was like, you know, the eyes were like huge. It was like, I sounded like a robot. I mean, why? Because I had never done it before and I was like super scared. But after a gazillion times, you're like, oh yeah, I got this, you know? So you do. And I'm letting y'all know, please, the worst presentation I have ever heard, besides some of my own. But there was a beautiful lady. She's just so put together, and her PowerPoint wouldn't work. And she was just stuck on stage, and she was just like trying to make everything, and she was, you know, frustrated, and she just wouldn't get off that her PowerPoint wouldn't work. And even with all the craziness and it was really, I mean, seriously, it was a horrible presentation, but her message was great. And you could tell she knew her stuff, and you could tell her business was amazing. And even with the worst presentation ever, she still got 2 customers out of it, which was $5,000 in sales. Wow. So it's not as much about, you know, what the presentation feels like. It's get across, and I can't even imagine what she would have done if she just let the PowerPoint go and just talk to people. You know, if all breaks down and everything has just gone awry, just sit there and just talk to them. You already know what you want to talk about. Let it all go and just be okay with yourself, and that you have a message, and that you could go over a couple tips, you know, or, you know, suggestions right off the top of your head. I haven't met one person who can't.
That's true. I believe you can do that. And it's also true that even if you totally bomb your presentation, there's always something that you've learned from it. There's always something that you can look at and say, oh, I get it, or something. So having an aha moment, even if you didn't perform as well as you thought you should have, or technology got all goofed up, it's okay. It's okay. You can always have another speaking gig. You can always look for someplace else.
Exactly. And people won't remember. They really won't. You know, we think it's all about us, and it isn't. It's about the audience. Because why? The audience is thinking about themselves. So realistically, it doesn't matter if you have something in your teeth. It doesn't matter if, you know, you have, now if you've got a, you know, wardrobe malfunction, it may be a little distracting, but
maybe, yes.
Depends on what kind of malfunction it is. Yeah. But, you know, most of the time, people just don't care. You know, we put way too much stock in, you know, I've got a friend who's incredible. And every time I'm like, you need to come on my show. And she's like, oh, I got to lose 20 pounds. I'm like, nobody cares if you need to lose 20 pounds. You know, I mean, really, nobody cares. You're the only one.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's a lot of individuals, they are in this perpetual waiting mode where I have to lose 20 pounds before I can do this, or I have to wait until my children graduate from high school, or I have to. And when you wait your life away, you're sad, and you're not always able to become that potential that you could become. And there is so many speakers who are moms and who have high quality time with their children. And you are not only just a speaker, but you have an entire foundation that brings more speakers. And you also have a yearly conference from this, and you have so many different information that you're providing to the audience, to people. Can you tell us a little bit about your conferences and how people can get a hold of you at the Public Speakers Association?
I would love to reach out and say hello. Please contact me. I would, you know, people are like, oh, I don't want to bother you. Please bother me. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for you to help you. So reach out to me. Go to Public Speakers with an S, Association, all spelled out.com. Under there's a contact form. Also, Public Speakers with an S, conference.com tells you all about our June 26th to the 29th. You can meet Lucy in person. You can meet me in person, and all of my 6- and 7-figure friends that are going to be there. And if you want to be a speaker, you're going to find out exactly how it's done because everyone is just very forthcoming with their information. So, and you walk out with a speaking opportunity. Unless you don't want one, you don't have to take one, but you walk out with one. So it's June 26th through the 29th in Palm Springs, California at the Hard Rock Hotel. We're going to have a rocking good time. And just have a blast. Every one of the conferences, my cheeks hurt because I just smile the whole time. When you're around that many, because we have 2 rules. You have to be nice and no perfect people allowed. So when you get really imperfect, nice people, you have a blast.
Yes, exactly.
We're not judging each other and, I can't believe she looks like that. Or, we're not those kind of people.
Oh, that's so fabulous. So, Tonya, you are such a beautiful light in this world. You are empowering women and men and people all across the globe in order to really have their voice be heard and to go to your website, have individuals just get a hold of you. Simply go to Public Speakers Association, that's with an S on the speakers, or Public Speakers Conference. The conference that you're talking about today is in June of 2016, and you have these every year. So even if you've missed this June one, don't worry. This could be another one. And is there any other tips or information you would like to leave our audience with today?
No matter what life throws at you, something amazing happens from it. I've gone through horrific things in my life, things that most people are like, I don't know how you're not curled up in a fetal position. But life is life. You're missing out. We get this chance to connect and enjoy and really help others. So I really want to encourage you, no matter what has happened. It's just another story to tell. I could tell a few. So get out there, change lives, change your own life while you're doing it, change your family's lives, have fun and go out and buy shoes whenever you want.
Yes. Definitely go out and buy shoes whenever you want. So, Tonya, I really appreciate you being on the Wealthy Wednesday show. It's been a blast having you on here, and I want to make sure my audience knows. Please go to Tonya's website at publicspeakersassociation.com. Get a hold of Tonya. Check out her membership. See what she has to offer for you so that you can become an up-and-coming new speaker to bring your positivity and your happiness into the world. And check out her conferences at publicspeakersconference.com and make sure that show up, get your ticket, and really have a blast. And just remember, the only 2 rules for Tonya is 1, no perfect people, and you have to be nice. I had a movie. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on. I so appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate you for being on the Wealthy Wednesday show. And as my audience, I'd like to thank you directly from my heart. And I want to really tell you how much I appreciate you. And I would like you to get a hold of me. Let me know what you liked about this show. Let me know if there's any resources you would like me to send to you. You can get a hold of me at my website at lucymcmonagle.com. That's LucyMcmonagle.com. And until next time, abundant blessings.
Thanks for listening to the Wealthy Wednesday show with Lucy McMonagle. That's on every Wednesday. Join us next time for more inspiration and empowerment from various topics and expert guests. To personally contact Lucy McMonagle, visit LucyMcmonagle.com. That's LucyMcMonagle.com. Until next time, many blessings.